Well, hello everyone. This is going to be part 2 of the generator housing build. You know, the one I was forced to do. I'm going to do things a little bit different. Okay. Everybody who knows me knows that I do things really different. But today I'm going to be covering the one thing that has plagued me more than any of the other items or issues that have to be covered while putting this together. And that is, how the heck do I do the exhaust? Now, if you look at some of the videos on YouTube, you're going to find a whole bunch of different ways. There's the one that even BC admitted that he went way overboard. I'm kind of wondering with my final decision if I haven't gone enough overboard. But it's the way I'm going to do it. So let's get started by first showing you and walking around the generator that Mama and I acquired, that we're going to be putting into this and having it more or less our whole house standby for if we have another issue like we did earlier this year, where we were out for well over a week. And the little one worked. It kept our freezer going, it kept our refrigerator going, it kept everything going. It just wouldn't keep everything going all at once. So again, we still have it, and it's still up for sale. Haven't gotten any bites on it yet, but let's go over what we have for the new one, and I think you'll understand one of the reasons, or why we did what we did. So here we go. Okay, here's the new monster. It is a Champion, and if you read real careful, you can see it is a 9,375 starting watts and runs at 7,500 watts. But this is also a dual fuel, which means I can run this on gas or propane. And if I run out of gas, I can switch it over to propane to run while I'm gone to get gas, or vice versa. If it runs on propane, it isn't nearly as powerful. It's only 8,400 starting watts, and its running is about 6,750, but that's still 1,750 watts more than the old one. The old good generator, I don't know. I may even end up keeping it for things that I could carry out and do otherwise. I don't know. So far nobody is interested in it. So anyway, electric start. This thing has a battery. I'm going to have to come out and either get a trickle charger for it, or come out every other month and just give her a good running and let it run, which is probably that's what they all recommend anyway. This knob, one way is propane, the other way is gas. That's all I have to do. This is where the propane would be connected to. And this thing came with, I think a 6 foot line. So it has a 120 volt, it has a 240 volt, 30 amp, and the 120 volt is a 30 amp. I also have regular plugs so that I can plug in, an extension cord or whatever. All in all, this is substantially almost twice the size of what we had, and I believe will do us a great job. Now, like I said, the biggest problem that I have had, and I've actually had sleepless nights, is how am I going to do an exhaust system on here that will work and won't melt that new house of it. as you can see, this is it can be a challenge. To give you an idea of what I want to do is anybody who is familiar with a gas or LP fired hot water heater, they all have to have an exhaust of some sort, a chimney, a stack, or whatever. And by looking at them, most every one of them are dual walled. So that's kind of what I'm looking, and they're 3 inches. And by the way, from here to here is a little over 3 inches. So I finally came up with something yesterday afternoon. I messed with it, got it to work, and I'll be honest, I had all of this off, everything, and had it all connected, but I wanted to make sure that it was shown what I had to do, or what it looked like and what I'm going to do to make it
With this
work
done,
better.
my question was, how do I take the hot air of this exhaust pipe or muffler and move it outside of that building over there safely and without melting too much plastic? So I'll show you what I got and what I came up in hopes that I can show you what I came up with.
We have an elbow, a straight piece. There is a 3 to 4 inch reducer or expander of dryer vent, and this is what would go on the top of a hot water heater to connect all of this together. And I thought, okay, how do I make this work? I mean, it's not the most expensive stuff in the world, but it sure as heck is not the cheapest. The elbow, the straight end, and the expansion all fit together. This was straight, but how do I get it on the exhaust? Well, I'll tell you what I did. Here's what I did. I took this piece and I took a Dremel and I cut that off of it, that excess off. Then I went and I sliced it, and I bent each one of these tabs over to where now when I take the spark suppressor and I line up the holes as they do because I had it on there, it's basically right dead in the center. So by doing that and having this connected to it, everything else is predominantly snap-on and set screw, and we should be ready to go. The only thing I have to do is that hole right there. I'm going to have to re-knit out to fit this. This is just a little bit bigger than that. To give you an idea what it will look like I said, the 90 fits on it. Couple set screws. And if you can look down in here, I'll try to show you. It's all filled with asbestos. And most all of these, well, they're not. This is the one that'll get the hottest because that's where it'll be turning the exhaust. So this will be the hottest. That'll fit right there. And then the straight pipe will fit like that. And again, a couple set screws. And then the extension, or not the extension, the expander sits over top of that. And then that fits right there. This, of course, will be bolted to the plastic house and is metal. My only concern is the plastic flap in here. It does have a plastic flap. It is positive setting, but if it is hot enough that it messes with that plastic flap, then I can remove it and I can put a screen over this here with a couple set screws. They got the holes, wrapping it cut with a metal screen, and that should suffice also once I get rid of if it should happen to melt the plastic. Well, I got the hole cut out. It's a bit larger than I had wanted it to be, but as it is, this is solid. I'm now putting this shroud back on, and I think what I'm going to do after I get the secondary shroud that goes up here, get that on, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this together, and then I'm going to fire it up and take a temperature reading as to what is actually coming out of the end of this pipe, temperature wise. That way we will have a good idea what we're going to be dealing with down the road whenever we need it, or when I'm running a maintenance. Okay, we're getting ready to start this up to see if we can determine the heat and how much is coming out of that. To give you an idea, I will try to turn the tripod here. I got it on the there it is. It'll be coming right out of there. And I'm going to try to start it up. This will definitely be noisy, so I will probably reduce the volume so you don't have to worry about it. But it'll also show you just about how easy this is to start. I guess it's not too bad. That's 200, running around 285, 290 degrees. Okay, it's up to 300. Let's let it run a little bit, and we'll get back with it. Now we're back on this side, and I'm going to, you look at that, I'm looking right as it comes out of the motor on the side of the pipe, and it's showing about 138, 140 degrees. But if we go around as we go, you might be able to see the dot down there. It's down to 100, 96 to 100. We get back out here where this is double walled, and we're bouncing around 100 degrees. We go out to the outside fitting, and it's around 90 to 80. But we step inside and look inside it. About 370. And a while ago I was able to get it all the way up to 400, so, or not able to get it there, but that's what I read. All right, the fact that the side of the pipe is only 90 degrees, that's about the same temperature as it is outside here today.
It is warm. It's about 100 degrees right there. Now another good test would be I set that board approximately where it looks like it would be from the back of the housing. With it running, it's showing it to be about 87. 88 and a half. $93 if I get down below it. But then again, I'm also going through the heat waves of the pipe itself. Because I go over to the pipe and it immediately jumps up. Well, let's get her shut off and pulled back in, taken apart, cooled down and taken apart. And we'll see what it's like coming straight out of the motor. Be right back. Okay, so there's that test. You can see all of the different temperatures around. I took this off, I'm letting it all cool down a little bit. Still a little concerned, but I know that I also am planning on lining the inside of this a little bit. My major concern now is the plastic flap inside of there. And if that's the case, it's an easy rip out and I'll be able to put a screen on the outside of that, probably with very little problems. Well, this is Ted Homer. I hope you enjoyed your visit. This is something I've been working on most of the summer and finally able to maybe make some headway on it. Don't forget to give us thumbs up, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell anybody you know that's got a generator. This might be a good option for them. We'll catch y'all the next time. Y'all have a blessed, blessed, blessed day. Bye-bye.